Hello and thank you for joining us on This Week in Campbell Football. I'm your host, Chris Haymeyer, alongside head coach of the Campbell football team, Mike Minter, and we are powered, as usual, by our friends at Fred Anderson Toyota. Coach, another record-setting day for your offense. Your quarterback, Brian Hudson, who seems to just get better week after week. They took away the run, so he threw for 340 yards through the air. That was a single-game CU record.
Well, I'll tell you what, the offense, they keep setting records each week and playing some good football. Marist was a good football team. They came in here and took away the run, and like you said, and we had to throw the football, not just because of that, because of the simple fact we was behind, and so we tried to catch up, and so we kind of abandoned the run on top of that ourselves because of the situation. So. But you said it. Brian Hudson is getting better each week. Wish I had him for another year, but it's great to see him flourish in his last football season in college.
The big plays now for your offense keep coming. 2 70-plus yard touchdown pass plays. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, it was. We felt like we could take advantage of their secondary, and first half we didn't get an opportunity to get the ball down the field, and we was able to do that in the second half. And the guys made some great catches and great runs after the catch, and won their individual battle. And really that's what football is all about, is winning that individual battle, and those guys was able to do that on those particular plays. And we just didn't have enough of them on offense to try to slow down what they were doing to us on defense. And so they was a heck of a football team.
Receiver Ben Bowling, a couple of those big plays. He nearly set a CU single-game record with 114 yards receiving. Here's the highlights from Campbell versus Marist.
Senior day and a beautiful one in Bowie's Creek. Second quarter, Campbell down a couple of scores. Chucky Looney for Marist back to pass. Aaron Nichols with the interception. Later in the second quarter, CU now down 28-zip. Then Brian Hudson gets away from the rush. Off balance, off his back foot, a 71-yard TD strike to Jordan Hildreth. Look at it again. Campbell down 28-7 with momentum into the locker room. Start of the fourth quarter. Campbell down 41-7, but the comeback begins. Handoff. Ben Bowling, his second rushing TD of this season. Campbell will get the ball back, still in the fourth quarter. Brian Hudson finds Austin Fleming. Fleming, a backup QB, turned tight end, his second TD catch of the season at just his third game ever at tight end. CU down just 3 scores. After a Marist TD, Mike Minter wants Campbell to come back one more time. He'll get it. Another bomb, this time to Ben Bowling, 74 yards. Hudson sets a single-game passing record with 340 yards through the air. But Marist holds on for the 55-28 victory. Ben Bowling 2 TDs, 1 rushing, 1 receiving, 114 yards.
It's now time for Ask Coach Mike, the segment where we take questions from you, the viewer, out there in cyberspace. You can post your questions for Coach Mike Minter on Facebook or on Twitter with the hashtag AskCoachMike. This one comes from Campbell pharmacy student Dustin Mabin, and he asks, Coach, what players and coaches did you look up to as you were growing up and following football?
Oh, well, that's pretty simple. Coach Osborne was somebody that I looked at and looked up to growing up. Tom Landry, I was a Dallas Cowboys fan, so I don't say that too many times. But Tom Landry was the other coach that I looked at, and then even in the basketball arena, Pat Riley was the guy that I looked at. From coach's standpoint, and then as far as players is concerned, of course I loved everybody on the Nebraska football team as I was growing up, and everybody on the Dallas Cowboys, and so that was just go in the backyard on Sunday mornings before football comes on, and you emulating everybody that you see, and as a coach and a player, and so it's just amazing to be able to grow up and watch them people, and then eventually get to the league that you was watching, and the team that you was watching eventually play for them is just unbelievable.
A team that we will be watching this Saturday is the toughest on your schedule, and that's not an exaggeration, folks. This is a Campbell team that has played some non-conference game against some FCS scholarship opponent. This is a whole different level. Old Dominion is a newer program, but they have already moved up and are transitioning to the FBS level. So this is, for the first time in Campbell history, an FBS scholarship opponent. You got to go up to Old Dominion. What a challenge for your team this weekend.
Well, I'm looking at the film and I'm like, oh man, what did I do? Why did I agree to that? But you know, these guys are very good. The quarterback is it's nothing like we've seen up to this point. This guy can throw the ball. He reminds me of Johnny Manziel. He can run around. He has weapons outside, and so he gets the ball to him. And then you know they make plays once they get the ball in their hands. And so they got speed all over the field. So it'd be a different type of speed that we've seen up to this point. The other thing is their offensive line. You see the difference between FBS, FCS, scholarship, non-scholarship is always up front. And these guys look like a FBS offense and defensive line. And so we definitely going to have our work cut out for us on the defensive side of the football, but also on the offensive side of the football, because we haven't seen the size and the speed of what these guys are bringing from a defensive standpoint. And so it's going to be interesting. Our goal and our challenge is to go in and compete, and I think that's really where it's at. We're going to go in and give them 60 minutes of good competition football, and you know, if the Lord come down and give us 20 turnovers and we win the game, I would love that too.
Does the game plan change when you're facing an opponent that on paper is so different than you, or do you continue to try to do what you do?
Well, we're going to continue to do what we do, and I mean, we won't change any. You know, we'll try to get guys in good position to make plays, but you know, we feel like we can run the football. I don't care who it is, and you know, it's just a matter of fact of, you know, can we stay in the game where we can continue to run the football. And as you can see, the last 2 or 3 weeks, we can throw the football too. So you just can't put everybody in the box and single up our guys outside, because we can beat you there too. So we're going to come in with the same game plan, and our purpose and our goal truly is to get better week in and week out. As you looked at the season, the great teams or the good teams that we've played, they beat us roughly around by 20 points. Charleston Southern around by 20 points. Butler around by 20 points. Marist around by 20. We trying to figure out what is that gap that we need to close up, that 20-point gap right there. We need to get better right there. We need to figure that out. And in the last 2 weeks, that's what we're going to try to do. And so when we go into the off season, we have a purpose and a plan to close that gap. So we that team everybody's talking about.
Well, it will be certainly a challenge this weekend. You can listen as we go on the road, 107.3 FM WCLN or at GoCamels.com. 1 o'clock kick time from Norfolk coming up this Saturday. Join us next week. It'll be our final show of the regular season, believe it or not, as we get set for Davidson. Until then, for head coach Mike Minter, I'm Chris Haymeyer saying so long, and we'll see you next week on This Week in Campbell Football.